Welcome to the latest episode of Chaz Kicks Off in the presence of the big man, Charlie Ausitin, and looking forward to it because we've got so much to get through. That little Monday cameo and update for you guys seemed to help as well. So once again, thank you for the great support. We're flying in the charts as well. Who knows? We might have a Christmas number one. How are you, big man?
I'm all good, thank you, buddy. I'm all good. Yeah, listen, we spoke on Monday, brief, just coming off what the comments from Salah, but listen, Monday night football happened with Wolves and Man United as well, and listen, we got big games coming up this weekend for a lot of teams, and listen, the big derby that we ain't seen for 10 years, so something to look forward to on Sunday.
Absolutely can't wait for it. Really looking forward to that now, funnily enough, because we said on Monday you were like, "Oh, we'll see how we feel closer to the week." I'll delve into that a little more later because I know you'll probably grill me about it. But listen, first and foremost, let's touch on that Monday night football. Let's touch on Wolves because there was a great Wolves fan on the TV just literally after the weekend, and these Wolverhampton Wanderers fans, I know them. They know their football, and it's just such a sad state of affairs. These guys could be going down with about 6 points. They're so poor.
Yeah, they know their football club. They want their owner out. They've sold their best players continuously, and now it looks like the trapdoor's well and truly open. We see it many years ago with Southampton, consistently selling your best players year after year. Then eventually the trapdoor opens, it's gone. I think the scary thing is, though, people seeing that Monday night was no direction, no play. It looked like no effort, no desire. Yes, when they conceded, it looks like the old heads go down. But back at 1-1, you're thinking, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Playing against a Man United team that, yeah, you can say they haven't been playing great over the years. But listen, look where they are on the table. They are performing, right? Listen, United counter-attacking football, and they caught Wolves on the break a couple of times. Get so many gaps, but Wolves just look like a team and a football club that is deflated. Now, I think the biggest thing out of it all is the decision from Rob Edwards leaving Middlesbrough, who were in a not pole position, but great chance of automatic promotion. They've got them off to a great start. And then almost just to go to the Premier League, but go to Wolves, who have 2 points. Now, I think that's a strange decision, come what may, they could have flip-flopped. And then you're thinking, what have you done that for? So I think he's got a lot of questions to answer. Well, yeah, I'd say people will say he played for the club, he's close to home, etc., etc. But he'd have his own opinions on why he went for. But looking from the outside in, like we do, that's why we do these things. He's made a terrible, terrible decision. And I said it after the game on Monday. Wolves are performing a lot worse than what Southampton did last year. And the talk about Southampton not beating the derby point was well and truly on the forefront of everyone's mind. Now, let me tell you, the Wolves performance, the Wolves team, everybody involved in that should be looking at that derby 11-point mark with a little bit of worry. Yes, there's a long time to go, but they don't look like they're picking up any points soon.
It looks like a massive ask to get 11 points. And I mean, that probably shows the trouble that they're in. Old Gold fans, drop us a text if you want and let us know what your thoughts are. My first away game that as a fan was Molineux. I've never forgotten it. Great atmosphere, knowledgeable fans, all with Stevie Bull haircuts back in the day, giving my age away. Yeah. But yeah, great fans. Listen, to touch on Man United though, you said that they are they're doing what they're doing. It still wasn't like a 4-1 away from home, though, was it? I mean, it wasn't. When you wake up in the morning and you see, United have won 4-1 away from home, you go, all right, yeah, they walked that. They didn't have it all their own way.
Not at all. Wolves, like at times, small parts of the game looked like they was getting on top and getting a foothold back in the game. But the problem was Wolves kept playing to United's strengths, counter-attacking. It turned into like a bit of a basketball game, losing the ball, then exchange of possession, etc. But the person who I think deserves a lot of credit is Mason Mount. Now, a lot of people will say about Bruno Fernandes scoring and the assist, the ball for his goal, but Mason Mount has really took to this formation. No one's questioning him. Yeah, a couple of eyebrows raised, and he went there a long time ago. He hasn't played a lot of football, and he's now almost in the starting 11 most weeks. And his performances so far are head and shoulders of the rest. Not to say the rest, the majority of the Man United players. You look at Bruno Fernandes, Cunha, and Mbeumo, Mason Mount, they're your four. They're your standout four. They're your match winners. And then Monday night, they had them.
Here's an old-fashioned statement for you, but if he stays fit, is it like a new
No,
player? Because
no,
no?
no, he does not. You didn't even have to finish the question. Your question to me was, does he make the World Cup squad? No.
No.
No, I don't think so. I just think unfortunately, Pete, I think there's so many riches in that position, that
Yeah,
area, that
fair
there's
enough.
going to be a couple of bigger players missing out other than Mason Mount.
Okay, talking of players missing out, we'll update from Monday. The king of Liverpool himself has had his say in the last 24 hours, Stevie G. He says he looked at it quite sensibly. I think he let the dust settle, didn't he, before he commented, did Gerrard? And he had his sort of players hat on and his manager's hat on. And he said, disappointing, which was the words that we went out first with all the Salah stuff, in your opinion, Charlie. And a lot of people have said the same, of course, former players and greats. But Gerrard says something as well that sort of resonated with me. He sort of said he's going to look at it down the line and go, "Oh, I've made a bit of a Norse of that, isn't he?" So
Yeah,
it was quite interesting.
I think Gerrard's been very, let's say, very clever. He's been very cute. Whatever, however you want to see it, he's let the dust settle. But what I mean by
Yeah,
the dust settle is the emotional side of it. He's taken the emotional side out of it, right? And
unlike Cara.
unlike Cara's gone Monday, full emotional. Then he's gone again yesterday, like with the other with the CBA. It's like, Christ, he can never get anywhere. Listen, the thing is, when I listen to Gerrard talk, it's like anything. Whenever Gerrard speaks, people in football, associated with football, listen, right? 9 times out of 10,
Yep.
10 times out of 10, it's sense. And what he's saying is Liverpool Football Club need Mo Salah on the pitch. He's the best scorer. He's the best player to perform. He will look at this in a couple of months and think, I made a bit of a nightmare there. Probably shouldn't have said that. But that's emotion. But what I like is when he goes on about Mo Salah, he says about Virgil van Dijk should be stepping in and speaking. But that's because he's been in a similar position with Luis Suarez and himself as captain. So he knows he's speaking on a scenario that he's been involved in. So look, I think the thing for it always, like I said on Monday, Salah's got one of them where he's Brighton and then he's done and doesn't come back. No emotion. So I look at it in the grand scheme of things. I don't think that's going to happen. He will come back. He is Liverpool's talisman. Liverpool need him to be playing better on the pitch, because if he's playing better on the pitch, Liverpool as a whole play better. And that's the main thing. As the more and more as you look at it, you look at the performances that he put in last year. He carried the team predominantly to the Premier League title. And because he's underperforming, then no one's really stepping up. And I look at it in two ways. The big money signings haven't stepped up. You're still looking at 33-year-old Mo Salah to be the best player. And Isak, you're not seeing. And here's one for you. You can clip this on this and all the thing on. I said to my son, Pete, watching Liverpool versus Inter Milan.
Yep.
I said, you won't remember this, but Fernando Torres was phenomenal at Liverpool and went to Chelsea. I'm worried there's every chance this is going to happen. Newcastle, brilliant. Liverpool, not so. Listen, I hope I'm completely wrong, but I just feel like I've seen it all before.
Andy Carroll?
Andy Carroll as well,
Andy
but
Carroll.
I'm talking though, Pete. I'm talking fifth. I know he went for 35 million at Andy Carroll, but I'm talking what Torres did at Liverpool and how he
Torres
got the fans
was unbelievable.
on side. Do you know what I mean? It was unbelievable when he had that glint, the blonde there, the T90s, everything looked class. Went to Chelsea, wasn't the same player. I just feel like I've got that feeling that could happen to Isak.
I wanted to ask you as well, and I forgot in all the excitement on Monday with Mo and his Egyptian ranting. I forgot in all my excitement. I wanted to ask you, what did you make of Slot saying that Liverpool don't have a sort of player like Jacob Murphy? I mean, to name him as well I thought that was wild.
Wild. I think he's given his thumbs up to Jacob Murphy, how he plays, etc., etc. But Liverpool Football Club don't play like that, Pete. They haven't played like that for a long time. But also, Liverpool Football Club haven't played with a number 9 for a long time. Let's have that right as well. And don't, like I said this before and previously, don't class Bobby Firmino as a 9. He was a 9/10/ I'll do everything for Mane and Salah to reap the rewards.
Interesting. And a special shout. One of the Newcastle tweets in days after Isaac going, one of the lads tweeted, Liverpool might have the new iPhone, but they forgot the charger, and they had a picture of Jacob Murphy, and it was well known in Newcastle that was that. I mean, he had so many assists for the lad, So
Yeah.
there you go. Interested. Listen, we did touch on. We sort of hinted at who our winners and losers were going to be. I don't think that's changed. You probably drop Mo Salah in there now as well, I would
Yeah.
imagine. But um, let's talk about the positives, and I would imagine that Aston Villa made it into your winners this week because haven't they?
Strength to strength, like we said, we give them their props last week with how good they were doing and how well they've been playing. But you've got to tip your hat to them. Look what they've done at the weekend. They beat Arsenal, top of the league, 2-1. This is going to sound silly, but they put the name right in the hat for the title. Title race the third. They've got a manager know how to win, etc. They're building a nucleus now that, like I said, the start of the season was probably a hangover from not making the Champions League, not signing the right people. Then they probably got together and, right, we need to fix this. And now they are flying. Are they 6 wins on the spin? They beat Arsenal, go right to the end, score the last-minute winner. Full credit to everybody involved at Aston Villa.
It was like an old-fashioned game, that as well. The whole end going nuts. You could feel the noise, even from the TV. It was end to end. I mean, of course, wherever Arsenal go, they play their part in a great game. But I thought Villa were magnificent and fully deserved. I have to say as well, normally it's not a pop, it's more of a fan's view. But I normally hear more from Arteta about this didn't go that way, this didn't go the other. Never really heard from him. I think he knew that, on the day Villa were well worthy.
Villa were well worthy. Yeah, and listen, I think this is the thing with Mikel Arteta. People get infuriated, angry, annoyed at the way he acts. But I think when he does it in a certain way, he does it again and again and again. But I think this weekend showed that, do you know what? If he come out and said certain things, people would have just seen right through it, because ultimately, for me, the best team won. There was rightly, listen, if it was a draw, then so be it. But I think Villa nodded it for me.
Okay, so your winners of the week are sparse compared to, they're knocking on the door for your losers of the week. There's quite a few. We've mentioned Salah. I don't think he's covered himself in glory.
No.
Can't really class him as a loser, but this week he hasn't behaved that well. Chelsea. We were just talking about, literally, I was looking back right at our episodes, Chaz, and we were saying about how inconsistency would be their Achilles heel, and boy, is it not.
Listen, I'd said, Pete, didn't I, that we're going about inconsistency, not about experienced players. And I said, look, we've got World Cup winners, Euros, we're Champions League winners in the team, right? But that is proven the inconsistency over the last week, the way they are and why they're not going to be title contenders, I guess. But I don't think that's down to inexperience and all that kind of malarkey that we've been talking about. I just feel like they just haven't got the quality, haven't got enough. They've got a lot of players, but have they got the quality to get over? Part the experience side of it. Have they got the quality to really compete at the top end consistently, week in, week out, midweek, etc.? And I don't think they have. And listen, people raise the eyebrows up, point down at Bournemouth. You say it's a good point, but if you're a team trying to go for the title, you've got to pick up 3 points. So look, that's the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, just staying on Chelsea before we have a look at the big weekend coming up. I listened to an interesting point made on the TV over the weekend. I think it was Jay Bothroyd who said he was talking about Garnacho, and he was saying, and I don't think he was aiming it all at Garnacho, but I think it was the crux of the matter was that there are too many wingers of his style that don't do enough for the team. He said he seems to be a winger that wants to score 30 a season and not, get the ball in the box and be that team player. I found that interesting because he does seem to play for himself.
Yeah, but they play opposite. Wingers play opposite now. There's no natural. You spoke about Jacob Murphy earlier, but no, every winger wants to play opposite. Why? Because they want to drop the shoulder, cut inside, try and score the perfect goal, and he's no different. I guess. But the thing is, wanting to score 30 or being involved in scoring 30 goals contributions is one thing. Actually going to do it is another, Pete. And I think the biggest thing for the Chelsea fans is looking at is that he ain't producing, and whatever they see at Man United, off the field as well as on, they ain't getting anything. Like, they're not getting anything.
Yeah.
There's too much on the. This is the thing with football now. It's too much on the social side, and yeah, you want to get to know players and look at this, but ultimately they're only humans. That's fine. But when you go across that white line,
Sure.
you're not. When you go across that white line, you are not human to the fans anymore. You are instrumental to the football club. You are part of the club that they support, that they spend their hard-earned money on, and they want to see performances. And listen, we can talk about the inflation in the market and all this kind of stuff, but what's he done for 50 million? Like, since he's gone there?
No, listen,
No.
let's put him in good company as well, so that Chelsea fans don't have a pop at me. But you look at that. You're right. What you said about switching wings at Sancho, Anthony Gordon at Newcastle's no different as well. Constantly doing that and then blazing it over, and you can see his teammates standing. Baltamare's there like that.
Yeah.
Give me the ball. So it must be that. It's obviously a wing trend at the moment, so we're not just having a pop at Garnacho. But hey, give me.
It is a wing trend, though, Pete. It's been going on for a while. It's not just Chelsea, Garnacho, a lot of teams. But the thing is, the biggest thing is when your team has got a number 9 down the middle, cross him the ball.
Get it in there. Get down the byline.
That's it. That's football. And the way football's gone now, I think it will come back. It will come back. Wingers are there, but ultimately, the opposite winger now is very much in the modern day game.
Listen, if the long throw's back in vogue, surely we can have a tricky winger a la Chrissy Waddle.
We'll have 4-4-2 in no time, Pete. Don't worry about that.
Okay, look, let's turn to the weekend. We've got a Saturday, Soccer Saturday. We've got a Super Sunday as well. Again, because of Europe this week, these fixtures, I look forward to an early game. I don't know about you. There's no early game this week. All the fixtures are all over again. And I'm like, like my old man will go, who's the first game? And I'll go, there's not one on.
Yeah.
But there's some cracking games on the Saturday. We've just mentioned. Is it an ideal home game for Chelsea to get back on winning ways? They've got Everton at home, but Everton, they're looking all right, aren't they?
You'd say ideal, yes, because you're playing Everton, but you don't know what Everton are turning up. That's the thing. Listen, Chelsea are strong at Stamford Bridge. They have been over the years, etc., etc., and that will be it. It'll just be interesting to see what Maresca does at the weekend, how many changes he actually makes after defeat to Atalanta in the Champions League. So it'll be an interesting one. But the biggest side of it, what's Everton going to do going there? Is they need to get back to winning ways. What I see against Newcastle, they was really poor, like I said. So for me, I look at it and I think it'll be a home win.
Okay, Liverpool, Brighton, not an ideal. Brighton as well. They're such a good team when they're so unpredictable. When they love going to Anfield with the pressure all on the home side.
Everything's on Liverpool in that game. The spotlights, Salah, will he, won't he be in the squad? Will he, won't he start? All this kind of stuff. But do you know what would surprise you, Pete? Salah hat-trick. Just something. Just
I'd play him.
Play him. Go on, play him. You talk the talk. Go and walk the talk. Go and walk the walk. Go and show the world how good you are. Go and show the world and remind them how good you are. Remind them how good you are and what you can do. So I'm going to go for a Liverpool home win, Salah 3.
Okay. Hey, do you know what? That's a great shout. And it would be just like the Magic Man to do just that. We just said ideal game. Arsenal have got the ideal game. I mean, talk about a worldie to come back after the defeat. You've got Wolves at home. Is it a case of how many?
It has to be. It has to be. Listen, you want to bounce back quickly, don't you? In the Premier League, you want to bounce back quickly, etc., etc. Look at your next fixture, Wolves at home. Home win. There's nothing tells me that Wolves are going to be any different than they have been from the start of the season to now, to what I witnessed Monday night. Arsenal are going to keep possession. It's not going to be a counter-attacking game like it was against United. It's not going to be basketball. Arsenal got to keep the ball, move it side to side. Balls goes out of play. Balls in the box. How many goals they concede. Listen, it's nothing but a home win for me. I think everybody will say a home win. It'll be another defeat for Wolves and Rob Edwards.
Yeah, I could see 5 or 6 as well when Arsenal get in that sort of in
Yeah.
that mood, and they're just the sort of team that will put. I feel it'll be a long old afternoon if you go to the Emirates in the Molineux end with the Wolves away end. Then good luck. Uh,
Mm.
Another interesting game on the Sunday, Palace Man City. Like the look of that one.
Yeah, because Palace are strong. Salah's part made that good fortress. They got good team. They move the ball around. They battle hard from 1 to 11. The thing is, though, Pete, Man City have got a sniffing distance of 2 points behind Arsenal, so they don't really want to drop many points and allow them to get ahead anymore. They feel like they're in touching distance, and rightly so. The interesting thing will be, again, how many changes come from the European games to the weekend for both teams, by the way. But I just see City just having too much and winning 2-0.
Okay. Yeah, just a clean sheet. City would welcome that as well, given that Pep's
Yeah,
had a little bit of criticism about his back four. Looking forward to that one as well. We'll save the big one for last, obviously. If you're a North East fan,
yeah.
it's the big one. The other one I was looking at, which is quite intriguing and difficult to call, given two teams who are sort of inconsistent. A key word of ours this week on Chaz Kicks Off: inconsistency. Forest Spurs, interesting game, that one.
Very interesting with Forest, Sean Dyche, 1 step forward, 1 step back in the same scenario, etc. Now, do I think they'll come good? Yeah, but what's good? They're not replicating what they did last year. They're probably going to end up mid-table, and I think Forest fans would take that. Sean Dyche, whether Marinakis does or not, is one thing. But look, they're in a position where they're at, and they need to turn that round. Flip side of that is with Thomas Frank. Now, given some stick last week, and rightly so. But do you know what, Pete? It's a Newcastle game. They've drawn and won the next 3. So it's almost like they're going in there with a bit of form, bit of tenacity about a good win in the Champions League. It was all about Son coming back, etc. So now it's time for them to kick on. And do you know what? You could say it's a tough place to go to City Ground, and rightly so it is. But if Spurs are about something that's going to go on and win and fight to be in the top 4 or European places, they've got to go and pick up points. Because if they don't, and they lose, it will almost be like this is the same old Spurs, and we'll be having the conversation about Thomas Frank that we was last week again next week.
Absolutely. Consistency is the key. Listen, it's a northeast derby on Sunderland, and I know that we'll look at this in great detail. Before we do, I just want to say, and if you haven't seen it, Chaz, it's probably because it's only in the northeast, but there's a brilliant video on Twitter, and it's a bit of a shame because it's the state of our UK at the moment, and it's some of the police officers in Newcastle, because it's such a Category A game. And for the first time in many years, it's got a normal kickoff time. It hasn't been given an early kickoff. There's no police escort for the Newcastle fans to Sunderland. So it's quite a big thing that there's it's a regular normal kickoff. So the police in Newcastle have been going around the fans, knocking on doors for those that have had banning orders and asking them, are you going to the game?
I see it, Pete. I see it on the socials,
Yeah.
knocked on the lad's door saying you've had a banning order, behave yourself. You go to the game, like, what? Like, listen, that politics and all that political nonsense that's here is all way over my head. But whatever's going on, when you start doing stuff like that, just shut up. Rubbish.
He says, he's got a ticket anyway. He says, I'm going.
Yeah,
I've
so
got a
he's
ticket.
going. No one's to stop him, are they? I think the biggest thing now, mate, I think the game and everything around it up in the northeast is going to be amazing. The buzz is going to be electric there, and both teams, both sets of fans, conduct themselves well. But they want 3 points for their teams to have over their arch rivals. That's the main thing. Listen, Sunderland have been phenomenal. I've said it many times now. It's in the Premier League, they really have. Newcastle have, again, the word is inconsistency. Some weeks brilliant, some weeks not. Then you think, are they? Aren't they? What do they need? Look, I think you look at it, and I think it's going to be a real tight game. Do I think it will be a fiery game? Probably. I hope the emotions don't get to the players and someone does something stupid. It's 11v10 in the first half or anything like that. So, look, I think it will be a draw. I think 2 teams going at it, but I think it'll be a tough battle head to head. No one will want to make any mistakes. I think it'll be a cagey 90 minutes. And listen, unless one team wins it with a bit of glory. But for me, you being a fan and it not being played for 10 years as a Premier League game. And I asked you Monday, like, how are you feeling? Excited, nervous, all that. What are your thoughts about the game going into it? You excited, nervous, and what's your predictions?
You know, weirdly, I was more nervous last week than I am this week. I feel, and this is not me. Any of my family and friends will tell you I always err on the side of caution. And you know what? I've always said the derby games, I don't like them. And if I never had to play Sunderland again, it wouldn't really bother me. All of this for one game, but it's important. Of course, it is to us fans. So, just the thought of them winning and then having to wait to put it right another 6 months. It's sort of, you don't want that. So you probably always take the draw. I look at if Newcastle play the way they played against Everton, and I mean this with the greatest of respect because Sunderland have had a phenomenal season. And I'm not talking with my black and white hat on, but I think Newcastle are better. And if they play like they did against Everton, I can see Newcastle winning nicely. I know it's a derby. Look, the only problem for Sunderland is that I've been to many games at Newcastle and Sunderland, and they're both, the atmosphere is white hot. I mean, at both stadiums, but more so at Sunderland. It's almost as if the fans drive their players. I know those players, some of the players that Sunderland have had in the past, they get carried away by that. Your Dan Ballards, your Granit Xhakas, they love all that. They and you had remember the Lee Catmull and all in that ilk where they get carried away by the occasion, and I think that they will do that, and that's my worry. Newcastle have got Joe Linton, he'll probably get a yellow card before he comes out for the kickoff. So, but what I'm saying is that if Newcastle if they do what they do and try and take the occasion out of it, which I'm sure Eddie might try and do, your Brunos, your Tonales, I fancy Newcastle. Having said that, it's all about the start and not being intimidated because these fans have waited a long time for this, and it's going to go off on Sunday in the
that's
first
what
5
I mean.
minutes.
And they have both sets of fans have waited for so long. You say about Sunderland, the atmosphere and all that, and it is going to be electric, right? It is. It will just be who can keep their composure the most, who doesn't get ahead of themselves with the occasion. Who I get prime example. Let's go prime example, Pete. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago? Casado with Chelsea. I know it's different, 10 years, Sunderland, Newcastle, but he was trying to rub up the fans, get them behind them. Next minute, boom, sent off after 25 minutes. It's like you left your team in the shit. Yeah, you got away with it because you drew 1-1, but still. So it'll just be interesting to see who handles the conditions, the environment, the better. Do I expect it also, Pete? Do I expect it to be a quality on the show game of football? I'm not sure. And the reason why I'm not sure is because it's a derby game. It'll be fine. I just think it'll be a cagey game. It'll be interesting to see what happens if there's a goal early on. What happens to the team who scores it? I.e., Sunderland, for argument's sake, do they sit back and hold back the 1-0, or Newcastle, the away team, score early and hold it? Look what happened when they went to Hill Dickinson, scored after a minute, then went again and went again. Listen, they were brilliant in the first half, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of tactics both managers, both teams come out with.
If Newcastle get an early goal, I go back to the season before last when they first qualified for the Champions League, and I think they finished 4th or 5th. And before they won the cup, that season, the first season where they had the press, and if Newcastle went 1-0 up, I think the message from Jason and Eddie then was, if you go 1-0 up, go and get the second. And Newcastle, if you remember, they were going to the likes of Southampton and Everton as well, and they were like 2, 3, and 4 up in the first 20 minutes. They went to Sheffield and scored 8. I think that if Newcastle get that sort of look of them is coming back in a few games, that if they push for that early goal. But then their Achilles heel so far for me is their defence, because they're conceding late goals as well. And Sunderland have got a great striker. He's performing so well this season. So yeah, it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be great for the fans, and I'm sort of happy that they've laid off it a little bit with the law and the fact that the fans can make their own way there.
Yeah, and do you know what? Well. Because and do you know what? Them just being in view sometimes causes more harm than good, Pete. Listen, it'll be one of them, whereas if they if they mess about, the fans the occasion gets carried away to them outside of the stadium, then we know what will happen in the future, right? But if they can conduct themselves in a great manner and respect their football clubs, then all will be fine. But I think it's something to really look forward to. And as a football fan, I think it's something that you can really look forward to because it's something that we haven't witnessed for 10 years.
And saying that as well, it's good you say that because it's not just one of those derby games, and I mean this with all due respect that people love to watch a derby as a neutral, but
Mm.
I think people are genuinely interested in, and I think they know the levels of this Northeast derby. I'll give you an example about. I think it was the last one at St James's Park, so we are talking 10 years
Yeah.
ago. I took my brother-in-law, who's a QPR fan, season ticket boy,
Yeah.
and I took him to his first Newcastle game, and it happened to be Sunderland. And we were walking into Newcastle, into the city, and he was like, "Oh, it's dead." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a police escort for everyone." And he was gobsmacked. He was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "This is your like stadium area." I said, "Yeah, I know, but you still got to have a police escort up even as a home fan." And he said he'd never experienced an atmosphere or anything like it in a city. He said it was
Yeah.
wild. So let's hope that everyone behaves, enjoys the game. The banter's there. That's all well and good, but let's hope for a
Yeah.
decent game, eh?
That's what you want. So decent game, a decent game, a good game of football. No one gets sent off, but a real high intensity game. So I think as we look at over the weekend, for me, I don't think this weekend. No doubt I'll be wrong, but I can't imagine there'll be too many surprises. I think the big teams will win. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, the four. I think they will win. I think they'll win this week. Tottenham and Forest, I think it'll be an interesting one. Like I say, I think Sean Dyche, there's every chance he could do a number. But if Tottenham are wanting to kick on under Thomas Frank, they've got to go and win at the City Ground.
Absolutely. Listen, you've been spot on so far in all of our episodes and
Yeah.
our trailer. So let's hope that may continue. Looking forward to it. Great, huge weekend of football, which Charlie and myself are looking forward to getting stuck into. And we will
Yes.
catch up with you next week. All I'll say before I say goodbye to Charlie is, how are the lads?